My next guest is a certified public accountant, certified tax planner, and self proclaimed tax nerd. Please welcome Christina Lael. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with tax genius Christina Lael. Hey, girl.
Hey, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you on. So feel free to take us on this journey and share with us who you are, what you do, and what got you into this line of work.
Okay, yes. Well, thank you. I get to talk about me, my favorite
Yeah.
subject. So I was born at a very young age. um I got my CPA license first when I was in the corporate world and worked for a Fortune 500 company for several years in their tax department. And got my CPA, certified public accountant license. It does not stand for can't pass again, like some people may may assume. I actually grew up right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. That's not where I am right now, but that's where I grew up, and I'm very familiar with that for all the country music fans out there. And passed the CPA exam the first time. When that was at the time when you had to take all 4 parts at once. So then they've got a great law school, Nashville School of Law, which is a night law school. So I was able to continue to work and go to school, go to law school at night, paid my way, didn't, came out without any debt, had built up my business on the side, which is how to save money in taxes, how to help people save money in taxes. Was able to study with the top tax attorneys. And I knew I wanted to go into tax law because it's just a very natural pairing between with being a CPA and an attorney. It's just a great pairing of those of the knowledge bases there. So studied in the best tax attorneys, in Nashville, and found ways very simply, not very simply, going to law school and how to read the tax code and study the tax court cases and being able to apply them to my clients not only was I able to do it for myself, which was nice. It made a huge difference just in my life and financial life. But then started doing it with, for my clients and helping them save money in taxes the right way and implementing those strategies for them, which I found that a lot of CPAs and accounting firms just don't do that because they're not attorneys. And that's not what they focus on. So it was a really overlooked niche and area of law, especially if you're not working with the big law firms that charge like 6 figures for a tax plan. I'm quite a bit less than that, and I love it. I love what I do. So I quit my job at the Fortune 500 and started my business full time, and it's just grown leaps and bounds. And got to a point, Anna, where I was too busy to work. People want to work with me one-on-one, which I still do, but I got way too busy for that, and I was turning clients away.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't like that. So what I did, and no one else has done this in the market, is I actually created a program where any business owner can save thousands of dollars in taxes every year, and it does everything for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like LegalZoom, but for tax savings for business owners. And I've just built up my team and just have an amazing team. And now I live in Fort Myers, Florida in the winter and I like playing a lot of golf and tennis, and then I'm in the mountains of North Carolina in the summer, which is where I am right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love what you do for business owners. I think it's so important to have, that support, that guidance, and if we can save money with taxes, why not? You know?
Oh my gosh, yes, and so many people just are paying way too much in taxes, and
Yeah.
they need to, and I'm all about paying your fair share of taxes, and that's pretty much what we do, is we just take you from paying your unfair share of taxes to paying your fair share of taxes,
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
so many the 99% of the tax code is about what is not taxable or what can be paid
Mm.
as a reduced rate in taxes, and
Mhm.
it's just gotten so out of control, the tax code, just tens of thousands of pages long, that accountants don't focus on that and don't do that. They do so many
Mm.
other things. So, yeah, it's just made such a difference in my clients' lives and my life. One of the things I do is show them how to increase their expenses, but without spending more money.
Wow. Tell me more about that. I'm curious.
Okay, yeah. So, for example, there's a very specific way that you can rent out your home to your business. And when done correctly and implemented correctly, you can charge your business the renting of your home, even if you don't own your home, even if you yourself are renting. And it's just a great way to pull money out of your business tax
Mm.
free, which is my favorite tax rate of 0%.
That is awesome. I love that. That's a
Yeah.
great trick.
Yes, and it's not, you can, if you're doing a home office, that's great. You can keep doing that. This is separate.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's just a so you're not spending any more money, but you've got now your business is paying rent to you, and so that's a business deduction. And then when done correctly and implemented correctly, which is what we do through Freedom Tax Plans or working with me directly, then you do not have to pay taxes on that money at the individual level.
Mm.
So that's how so things like that, when implemented correctly, great
Mhm.
strategies you can use to increase your expenses for your business without actually spending more money. And then I also
Mm.
talk about the best way to set up your business and to tax your entity, depending on your situation. So
Yeah.
those, I mean, that alone can drastically reduce your taxes, so that, and especially if you're in a state where you're paying state income taxes, so you're paying federal and state. Um, I mean, even if you're not, you can still save money in taxes, but it just, every dollar you save in taxes, I mean, just makes a huge difference, especially if you're not spending any more money to save it. That puts more money in your pocket that you can use to pay expenses for your business, for your family, for retirement. I mean, it
Mhm.
just really can make such a difference in your life. So that's exciting. That's why I love what I do, and we have clients
Yeah.
all over the United States.
Yeah, that was actually my next question because my audience is very much like international. So
Uh-huh.
this is more like for US based people, right?
Yeah, more for US based. There's still some things we can do for people who are international, and a lot of the
Mhm.
strategies apply
Yeah.
the same, because again, it's nothing to do with the actual maybe tax code in that particular country. If you're international, it's
Mhm.
all about increasing, if you own a business, increasing your expenses without spending more money. If you own a business, and not
Mhm.
ridiculously so. I mean, it's definitely all within the guidelines and within the restrictions of the tax code. But
Mhm.
so people internationally can even use my program, Freedom Tax Plans, because
Mhm.
again, there's a way to increase your expenses without spending more money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really great. And I'm curious to know, like, what's the rule of thumb here with like putting money like aside for taxes? Like, what's the magical number or rule for that?
Oh, good question. So it really depends on what you make. And
Mhm.
when people start working with me, they have to put a lot less aside, which is nice. But,
Yeah.
if you're like, gosh, people come to me sometimes, especially, they're paying like 40 to 50% if they're in a high
Mm-hmm.
income state. And, we get them down to, maybe 20%.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you're paying maybe 20%, we can get you down to, more like around 10%. So it
Mm.
just depends upon your effective tax tax rate
Mm-hmm.
and basically your income level, and then the kind, if you can use strategies to reduce that, that just makes all the difference.
Yeah. So I also know you're one of the only 60 tax coaches
Mhm.
certified by the American Institute of Certified Tax Planners. So, like, how do you go about doing that and getting certified and all of that?
Oh, yeah, so that is a great organization out of California, which I joined at the beginning of my, uh, career and starting my business, and who that is some a select people, that where we get together. A lot of other tax attorneys as well, and some accountants and CPAs who actually want to do tax planning, which is encouraging to see that. And we study the tax code. So yeah, so I'm very, very focused, very dedicated to tax planning. At my firm, what we do, we focus on tax planning and tax returns.
Mm.
So that's what we do. And we don't do bookkeeping, we don't do payroll, we don't do wealth management like so many other accountants, do.
Yeah.
Like that's what we do. We do tax planning, and then if necessary, we prepare the tax returns for our clients. Now if you use Freedom Tax Plans,
Mm-hmm.
my program that I created to show you how to implement all these strategies, you can actually file your own tax return.
Oh.
um, yeah, you can use it and still file your own tax return, or still have your current CPA file or accountant file your tax return. Because again, it's just, you may have to change how your entity is taxed based upon your situation, which Freedom
Mm-hmm.
Tax Plans would tell you exactly what to do once you answered the questions. And then just again, you're increasing your expenses without spending more money and reducing your income
Mm-hmm.
by, by some. You're not totally wiping it out unless you just don't make a lot of money, which is fine. And the good thing about that is if maybe you are just starting your business, or you're
Mm-hmm.
having a tough year and you're not making a lot. Well, if you increase your expenses so that you show a loss, if you have other income, it goes against that income. Or if your spouse,
Mm.
has income, or it'll just be carried forward to future years. Let's say if you did wipe out your income with these increased expenses because maybe your net profit isn't really high right now, it'll just be carried forward if you can't use it against other income to future years,
Mm.
or you're making a lot. So it can really help
Mhm.
um, anyone. But yeah, you can definitely have your current accountant file your tax return, or a lot of people file their own
Mhm.
tax returns, which really I think that's great when you file your own tax returns, because you're really not getting any more tax planning services from
Mhm.
accountants.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if you feel comfortable doing that, then do it. Some people do come to me to file their own tax kind of sheepishly, and I'm like, "No, that's fantastic." I said, "You're saving money because accountants just don't do tax planning.
Mhm.
But now we can do tax planning for you, and if you want, we can file your tax returns, or you can keep doing them yourself, because we make it, as simple as possible
Mm.
with all the implementation of the strategies."
Yeah, that was actually my next question because I
Oh,
feel
okay.
like people like they hear the word tax and they just get like bored about it. Like it's not a sexy subject, you know? But it's so
Right,
important to
right.
learn and be knowledgeable and be prepared and do all your stuff. So how do you keep it fun for your clients and for them to be like really involved in the process?
Oh, that's a great question. I haven't been asked that one before. That's a great job. Well, one thing we do, Anna, is if they work with me and my team,
Mhm.
then we do as much as possible for them, and we
Mhm.
make it as simple as possible. We implement all the strategies for them.
Mhm.
We show them very easily how to implement these strategies. And again, we do anything that we can do, we do for the client.
Mhm.
And then with Freedom Tax Plans, if they want to do it on their own, we make it, I've got videos on there. You answer the questions that it asks you, and then it shows you very specifically how to implement these strategies incredibly easily and efficiently. And it produces all the documents or forms that you would need for your records to correctly implement these strategies, because that's what it's all about with just implementing the strategies correctly, and then making sure you have the backup documentation if you were to get audited. And so Freedom
Mm.
Tax Plans does all that for you, and it tells you, even based upon your answers, which strategies are the ones that would work for you. And then we also
Mm.
have email support and a weekly Q&A. That's fun. So even
Mhm.
with Freedom Tax Plans, we're giving a lot of people support because I've been doing this
Yeah.
for so long. I've learned how to implement all these
Mhm.
strategies for our clients, and then the little bit that they need to do, how to explain it so clearly and down to earth. And then the fun part is saving money, having more money in your bank account.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like what you do is so cool, so necessary. And yeah, I just love to be able to share this with my audience for them to be like, oh, I might gotta reach out to Christina, like this is awesome. I'm really glad.
Oh, yeah, and it's for everyone. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're just starting your business,
yeah.
if you've been working for a long, had your business for a long time, or
Mhm.
even if your work, what I tell, and again, all your listeners,
Mhm.
can go to freedomtaxplans.com, and in the top right-hand corner,
Mhm.
it says, for podcast listeners, and you click
Ooh.
on that. Yes, and you can listen to a free webinar, either a longer one, about 40 minutes, or if you're short on time, I think it's about 15 minutes, the shorter one, and it
Mm.
goes into all these tax saving strategies,
Ooh.
and tells you how you can work with me, or how to get Freedom Tax Plans, depending on what you would like to do.
That's awesome. I love that. And so I ask this to everyone who comes on the show, and I'm curious to know your answer. For you, what does it mean to be a powerful leader?
Oh gosh, I did not know I was such a powerful leader, but I am. I'm like, I am a powerful leader. And it really showed up more when I started my business than in
Mhm.
the corporate world. I mean, I was doing well in the corporate world, but I didn't think I ever wanted to like manage people. I'd
Mhm.
gotten pretty much at the highest level I could at that job without having to manage people. And I looked around, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to manage these people. I don't want to lead these people. But that could be different for you. But with my own business now, of course, I get to pick and choose who my employees are,
Mhm.
which makes a big difference. And so I just have an amazing team. I lead by example.
Mhm.
I give a lot of praise. We have a great time when I am in Florida, in teaching them, how to expand their skills, and giving ways for people to be promoted and advance themselves. Focus on the growth. Yes, we as
Mhm.
people make mistakes, but how to learning from the mistakes,
Mhm.
and just being better, and then showing, of course, how to treat the client, like royalty, basically. And great communication,
Yeah.
and I just really I've been able to build up an amazing team, and not being afraid to let people go.
Ooh,
um,
that's a
I've had
good
to let
one.
yeah, I've had to let a lot of people go,
Mhm.
but now I just have the most amazing team, and my clients will tell you the same thing. They just love my team and love working, hopefully with me as well. But I get so much great feedback from my clients about
Yeah.
how amazing my team is. So that makes me very, very,
Mhm.
very proud, and and I stress, work-life balance, and we have a good time especially when I'm in town, and I miss seeing them when
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that you said that. I think it's so important to know when to let go and move on, and being that leader that's not afraid to say it like it is as well.
Mhm. Mhm. And I'll tell people like, "Okay, let's just go over this. Let's just learn from, this little
Yeah.
instance, and it's a good learning experience." And so we've just really grown just as a company, and yeah, the first time I had to let someone go, I was like, oh, I didn't want to do it, and I kind of procrastinated it, and then after that I got really good at it. Like, you're fired.
That's so funny.
I think my husband was a little worried that I was going to fire him.
Oh my gosh.
I was getting pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But then I really found that the jewels out there.
Mhm.
So that's good.
That's great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all of your amazing stories and insights and feedback. And do you have like any last piece of wisdom that you'd like to share with us today before we wrap up?
Just go to freedomtaxplans.com
Yeah.
and click on that for the podcast listeners, and do sign up for one, either the 40-minute, I think it's about 40 minutes, and then or a shorter one if you're short on time. But please, I mean, that's absolutely free for your listeners, no obligation, free of charge. Just, you'll learn so much from those webinars.
Awesome. Well, go ahead, check it out. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. And thank you so much again, Christina, for coming on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.